Have you ever wondered why Pisces go through so many emotional and spiritual difficulties throughout their lives? What if I told you that these are not coincidences, but rather sacred lessons that the universe places in this sign's path to awaken their full spiritual potential? Those born under the sign of Pisces carry a very special mission in this life. They came to learn through experience, pain, and transformation. Every obstacle they face is actually an opportunity for growth, a gateway to enlightenment. But many Pisces don't know this and end up getting lost along the way, thinking they're unlucky or that life is unfair to them. If you're a Pisces or know someone of this sign, you need to watch this video until the end. I'll reveal the 7 most important spiritual trials every Pisces must overcome to fulfill their true life mission. Anyone who leaves now will miss out on valuable information that can completely change the way you view your difficulties. Each trial I'll reveal has a profound purpose and a gift hidden on the other side. Trial 1. The first great challenge for Pisces is learning to set emotional boundaries. This sign is born with a completely open heart, feeling the emotions of others as if they were their own. It's as if they were born without an emotional skin to protect them from other people's energy. In everyday life, this manifests itself when Pisces absorbs a friend's sadness, their boss's anger, or their family's anxiety. They arrive home completely drained, unable to understand why they feel so burdened. They often take on problems that aren't theirs, suffering over situations they haven't even experienced directly. The lesson here is to learn that feeling compassion doesn't mean carrying the emotional burden of others. Pisces needs to develop emotional discernment, recognizing when an emotion is their own and when it belongs to someone else. When they can make this distinction, they discover an incredible superpower: the ability to help others without harming themselves, to be a channel of healing and love without exhausting themselves in the process. Trial 2. The second challenge is overcoming the tendency toward escapism and facing reality head-on. Pisces have a rich imagination and a natural connection to other planes of consciousness. Therefore, when life gets difficult, their first reaction is to escape to an inner world where everything is more beautiful and easier. This escape can occur through addictions, toxic relationships, excessive fantasy, chronic procrastination, or even a spirituality disconnected from practical life. Pisces can spend years living in a bubble, postponing important decisions and avoiding necessary conflicts. But life always takes its toll. The challenge here is learning that true spirituality isn't about escaping reality, it's about transforming it. Pisces need to bring their intuitive gifts and sensitivity to the real world, using their imagination to create practical solutions, not to avoid problems. When they accept this responsibility, they become true alchemists, capable of transforming any situation through love and creativity. Did you like what you're hearing? Then subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any revelations about the signs. And tell me in the comments, are you a Pisces or do you know one? Where are you watching from? Trial 3. The third great test is learning to trust one's intuition without being led astray by fears or illusions. Pisces possess a powerful, almost telepathic intuition, but often distrust this gift or fail to distinguish between real perception and a projection of one's own fears. This happens a lot in relationships. Pisces may sense something is wrong with their partner, but wonder, is it true intuition, or am I creating problems in my own head? Because of this insecurity, they often ignore important signs or, conversely, create drama where none exists. The lesson is to develop spiritual discernment. Learn the difference between clear intuition and anxiety, between extrasensory perception and uncontrolled imagination. Pisces needs to train their sensitivity like a musician trains their ear. When they can make this distinction, they become a true oracle, capable of guiding not only their own life but also helping others with wisdom and precision. Trial 4. The fourth challenge is overcoming the victim complex, and embracing the creative power of one's own reality. Because they are so sensitive, Pisces often feel powerless in the face of life's circumstances. They develop the belief that they are too fragile for this world, that they will always be hurt, that they cannot defend themselves. This victim mentality manifests itself in real life through relationships where they are constantly exploited, jobs where they are undervalued, and situations where they feel constantly disadvantaged. Pisces can spend years complaining that life is unfair, that people are mean, that they always dance to other people's tunes. The great lesson here is to discover that sensitivity is not weakness, it's power. Pisces need to understand that their ability to feel deeply is also a capacity to profoundly influence. When they stop seeing themselves as a victim of circumstances and begin to recognize themselves as co-creators of their own reality, they awaken an incredible transformative power. They discover that they can use their emotional energy to manifest, heal, and inspire. Trial 5. The fifth test is learning to love without losing yourself in the other. Pisces have a capacity for unconditional love that is both their greatest gift and their greatest danger. They give themselves completely to relationships, often losing their own identity in the process. In love, this manifests itself when Pisces adapts completely to their partner, abandons their dreams for the others, and accepts crumbs of affection, believing this is true love. They may spend years in toxic relationships because they believe love means total sacrifice. The spiritual lesson here is to understand that true love doesn't nullify individuality, it empowers it. Pisces must learn to love while maintaining their essence, to give of themselves without emptying themselves, to be compassionate without being a doormat. When they can achieve this alchemy, they become capable of truly sacred relationships, where two souls meet without losing each other, empowering each other without nullifying each other. Trial 6. The sixth test is transforming hypersensitivity into emotional wisdom. Pisces feel everything amplified. A minor criticism becomes a deep wound. A simple disappointment becomes a tragedy. A simple joy becomes ecstasy. This emotional intensity can be overwhelming and often leads to them being labeled as exaggerated or dramatic. In everyday life, this manifests itself through disproportionate emotional reactions, difficulty handling criticism, and a tendency to take everything personally. Pisces may avoid situations that require more emotional resilience, limiting their life experiences. But this hypersensitivity, when well directed, is an extraordinary gift. The challenge lies in learning to use this sensitivity as a tool for a deeper understanding of human nature. The Pisces who masters this lesson becomes a master at reading other people's emotions, a natural counselor, someone capable of touching people's hearts with their authenticity and emotional depth. Trial 7. The seventh and final test is finding balance between the spiritual and material worlds. Pisces are born with a natural connection to the sacred, but this often creates a disconnect with the practical needs of life. They may be deeply spiritual people who can't organize their finances, or inspired dreamers who don't know how to turn their visions into reality. This disconnect manifests itself through practical difficulties, chronic disorganization, recurring financial problems, difficulty establishing routines, and a tendency to put off important matters. Pisces may be perpetually in the red, always behind, and always dependent on the goodwill of others to resolve basic issues. The great lesson is to understand that spirituality without practicality is an escape, not an evolution. Pisces needs to learn that caring for the material world is also a spiritual act, that organizing their practical life is a way of honoring the gifts they've received. When they achieve this integration, they become true magicians, capable of manifesting on the physical plane all the beauty and wisdom they carry in their soul. Now you know the 7 sacred trials every Pisces must overcome to fulfill their spiritual mission in this life. Every difficulty this sign faces is actually a step on the ladder of evolution. Every tear shed is a pearl of wisdom being formed. Every pain is a door opening to greater compassion and love. If you're a Pisces, look at your struggles with new eyes. Understand that you're not being punished. You're being prepared for something greater. Your wounds are sacred because through them you develop the ability to heal others. Your sensitivity is a gift because through it you can touch dimensions of existence that others don't even know exist. And here's my question for you to ponder. Which of these 7 trials resonates most strongly with your experience or the experience of a Pisces you know? Life is always offering opportunities for growth. The key is to recognize these opportunities and embrace them with courage and faith. Remember, you came here to shine, not to hide. Your trials are your stepping stones to greatness.